I am a failure, and I love it. A new era in sim racing broadcasting always begins with a vision. Hello and welcome to Grid Vision's broadcast of the Global Racing Truck Series here at the virtual North Wilkesboro. This is a classic 0.63 mile track that has recently had some sort of a revival. Definitely excited to see what NASCAR has for us here today. But before that, we're going to get hyped up with some truck racing here with the Global Racing Truck Series. Of course, I do have a little bit of news that Michael Lester wanted me to share before the broadcast. Of course, I do want to give a big shout out, I do believe, to Jeremy Richmond's wife, who actually is 34 and has been living with spinal muscular atrophy, I do believe. And of course, she has just taken this new medication that has given her feeling back into some of her limbs. And that is definitely a great thing. And we're definitely glad to see that be the case for sure. Of course, her name is Kendall. So shout out to you, Kendall, if you're listening. Also, we want to definitely wish a speedy recovery to Robert Engelman, who just had surgery here recently. So we're thinking about you as well. And a big happy birthday to Michael Lester's mother, if she's out there listening. He said she might not be, but either way. Of course, my name is Brian Britt, joined the booth by Taylor Burris. Of course, Austin Derbyshire down behind the cameras. How you doing today, Taylor?
I'm doing pretty good, and it's a big day in NASCAR racing, and both in the virtual and in the real world here as we get ready to throw it back to the hallowed grounds of North Wilkesboro Speedway here today.
Yeah, definitely going to be an exciting one. Of course, look at the track temperature. Very hot out there, 118 degrees. It's going to be very sticky, going to make it very slick out there on the racetrack. Of course, these guys have 250 laps on the docket. Of course, fuel not really going to be a really big concern. Just considering, I do believe 180 laps is the recommended, I should say, estimated fuel window that you can make it here at this short track. Tires are going to be everything. Of course, these guys got 4 sets of tires down in the pits. Let's go ahead and bring up those points for this before this 250 laps race so we can see where everybody is kind of standing. I know we had some movers and shakers. Of course, Dale Brooks up at the top of the board with 1,236 points. Stephen Hayes sits in second. Ricky Hudgens been really consistent all season long. Third place. Chad McGinley is in fourth. Steve Gerber is fifth. Mark Royce is in sixth. Jeff Weimer seventh. He's been definitely working his way progressively up the standings all season long. Michael Hayes is in eighth. EJ Luna, from what I heard, jumped up a few spots. He's now in ninth. And rounding out the 10th place in points is David Holsey, who was fastest in practice. So I expect a lot from that David Holsey guy, that 57. This is going to be a tough one, Taylor. I mean, just considering, it's very easy to get loose on entry on the braking, heavy braking here at North Wilkesboro. Also, multiple lanes are possible here.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday in the truck race that we saw. We saw 3, even 4 wide action here, so it gives it a lot of opportunities for drivers to really test the limits to see where they can set their trucks up for this event.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, like I mentioned before, though, very easy to get lock those brakes up on the entries to the corner, especially if you're trying to late brake to make a pass. Of course, exit also a place where you could get very loose as well. This is an open setup series, so these guys do have an opportunity to possibly adjust on these cars as the race goes on. Of course, these trucks are very vulnerable to front end damage, and this place does not have safer barriers. It is straight up concrete, but it looks like we do have the grid set for today's act. And, of course, David Holsey, I thought about him being fastest in practice. Well, he is fastest in qualifying in that 5 Aces machine. Second place, Austin McGill. Third, Chad McGinley. Fourth place, Jeremy Richmond. Fifth place, Bobby Mantle. Sixth, Joshua Slade. Seventh, Michael Hayes. Eighth, Steve Gerber. Ninth, Jeff Weimer. And rounding out our top 10 is Stephen Hayes.
In the 11th spot, it's going to be EJ Luna, followed by Mark Royce in the 12th position. 13th will be Ricky Hudgens, followed by Don Blazer in 14th. 15th is Dale Brooks, your points leader, with Justin LeBlanc in 16th. 17th is Stephen Knight with Michael Lester 18th. Ron Harrington in 19th. And rounding out your top 20, Matthew Escarella.
Of course, Nick Schott starts in 21st. Ronald Holmes, 22nd. Kenny Heath, 23rd. That is going to wrap up the 23-car field we have here at North Wilkesboro. Definitely enough drivers to make this quite interesting. It's such an intimidating racetrack for a lot of drivers. I think it takes a lot of skill to get around this place, wouldn't you say?
It certainly does. You mean you're pretty much going to be going uphill and downhill. Downhill into turns 1 and 2, and then you're going to climb up the hill a little bit when you're heading off into turn 3 and 4. So, a lot of different variables, a lot of heavy braking zones here. You have to be careful of where you place your truck around the circuit in order to lay down some very significant lap times, as well as also to get around or stay ahead of your competitors.
I sure am glad we switched cameras there. Austin was starting to make me dizzy the way he was spinning that thing around. But hopefully none of these trucks out here do that. Of course, I mentioned about the vulnerability these trucks have on the front ends. I've seen it time and time again. You hit some concrete with the front end of this truck, it's probably going to explode on you. Of course, this being a short track, a lot of times damage doesn't matter quite as much. But I think this is a different story. I think that these guys, if they hit the wall, it's going to they're going to pay a price. And it looks like Chad McGinley going to be going to the inside here. I think he is serving an EOL penalty. So that's one thing you don't want to mess with here with the Global Racing Truck Series is the race control. They will make sure that you pay the price for something maybe you've done in the past.
Yeah, that's why you got to always try to follow the rules as best you can because you will pay the price here with the Global Truck Racing Series.
Now, what I'm curious about, though, is what is this going to look like? I mean, I know you said you talked about watching the truck race. Is this going to be, could there be an opportunity for cautions? I know a race like this, the lap times are very short, but if we have a lot of cautions, that could definitely bog down the progress here. What do you think?
Well, we saw quite a bit of cautions in yesterday's truck race for drivers getting loose off corner exit, especially coming off of turn number 4. Drivers being careful of, making sure that they get a little tight off turn number 2 as well. But you have to be careful of where you place your truck. And as long as you just bide your time, try and take care of your equipment in those early opening laps, a lot of these drivers may be able to work their way through and maybe go for a long green flag run. The thing is, tires are going to be critical.
Green flag is out for the first time here in the Global Racing Truck Series. And David Holsey off and away. Of course, still side by side with Austin McGill. Looks like McGill gets clear. He's going to try to drop down, I do believe, behind Holsey. Still side by side for third, as it was a fairly tame restart, as we are, I do believe, going to be completing our first lap possibly. Still side by side for third. You see Bobby Mantle and Jeremy Richmond battling it out at the moment.
Great side-by-side action, 2x2 from third on back as they work their way off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. There you see Bobby Mantell make over and take that third position away from Jeremy Richmond. As we watch the one machine of Michael Hayes try to stick to the bottom here. A couple of trucks already going up to the second and third lanes.
We're seeing some guys have some problems when it comes to handling. I'm noticing Ricky Hudgens, he was very loose on that first lap. He's already got a little bit of rear end damage. I think a little bit of left rear. You can see it's already been up to spoiler, so I think he's already had some contact there. I saw Mark Royce was a little bit wiggly as well. This is going to be something these guys are going to really have to get used to. This is a track you got to treat that gas pedal like it's got an egg underneath it, and you do not want to crack that egg.
No, you certainly don't. It's trouble already. The 24 goes around. That's EJ Luna. He was making such a big run in the point standings from last race, but for the Lone Star Racing Machine, backs it up into the outside wall.
Yeah, heavy rear end damage for that race car as well. So we'll have to wait and see how he's going to be able to take care of that car, get it fixed. Of course, being a short track, very difficult to get damage fixed. You don't have a whole lot of time as we take a look back and see what happened. I think Stephen Hayes might have got into his rear a little bit right in front of a group there. And yeah, a little bit of front end damage or side damage there to Stephen Hayes as well. But a lot of good heads up driving from some drivers there to be able to get through that. Take a look back at this here and see what happened. I think there was a little bit, yep, boom, right there, right to the rear end. And what's sad about that is that both of those drivers are Lone Star Racing drivers. So, kind of Lone Star on Lone Star crime out here.
Not a good thing here indeed for the two Texas drivers as they now already are coming down pit road. A couple of them are going to stay out, but for those who were involved that I didn't say, they decided to come down pit road at this time.
Yeah, I think coming down pit road is such a heavy decision. So I think a lot of drivers are not going to take that very lightly. I think that for the most part, guys are going to stay out at most opportunities they can. Now, if we do get a 20-plus, 30-plus lap run, some guys might think about coming down pit road. I think that's definitely a distinct possibility. I doubt we'll see green flag stops here today just because if you do go down pit road for a green flag stop, you're going to end up multiple laps down, and that is not something you want to happen here at Wilkesboro. It's so hard to get those laps back.
It really is. So we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of green flag stops, but we could see some strategy calls, though, late in the going of today's race.
Yeah, that's definitely a distinct possibility. I mean, guys going to try to get on different strategies, but it's hard to pass around this place. Even though you can have multiple groove racing, you still have to get through traffic, and traffic is going to be the big thing. I mean, almost just like Martinsville, you have a little bit easier time passing here at North Wilkesboro, but it's still you have to get through the traffic. If they're double file in front of you, it don't matter how good of tires you have; you're not going to be able to get by.
No, you will not. You have to be so careful with that. As the lights are out, we're about to go back racing.
Yep, then we are doubling them back up. David Holsey, of course, leading every lap thus far. I'm wondering if any of these guys are going to be able to get a good restart on the top, because I know that I saw in real life and in the sim at some races here at North Wilkesboro, the top grooves seem to be the place to be on the restarts. If you're able to really get that launch and time it with the leader, and if you go side by side into turn one, you can really get a good drive off of turn two. As the green flag is back out, restart number one here, as David Holsey gets it going. A little bit of a wiggle there as he gets the gas pedal down to the floor. Is Austin McGill side by side on the exit of two. Let's see the run he gets. And like I said, really good run out of turn two. Let's see if he can maintain this, if he can maybe see if he can get something done. See Joshua Slade looking a little bit right here.
Great drive right there by Joshua Slade to get there, sliding up into that middle groove as they're thinking about three wide, but we see the outside prevailing with Austin McGill right there holding strong in that 99 Toyota.
Yeah, definitely really strong run there for McGill, taking the lead there from David Holsey. You see Slade trying to see if he can't replicate that. But now, McGill has been fast all season. He's been one of those guys that has had some bad luck, but he's been really, really quick. So wonder if he's going to be able to make something happen here. Of course, I do believe he has won this season, so I'm sure he's looking to make it two on the season. But, of course, we still have a long, long, long way to go. Looking back here at Dale Brooks, he's racing side by side, I do believe, with Steve Gerber. I know those guys are good friends. Might not be after this race, though.
No, certainly seems to be the case here as they work their way. Trouble, though, for the 89 off turn two. That is Bobby Mantell who loops it around.
Caution is out. He stays in the grass. This is going to be a race of attrition. This is going to be a race where not everybody is going to make it to the end, especially with those metal barriers down there. Let's take a look back and see exactly what happened here to Bobby. He was following right behind Joshua Slade here. It looks like, caught a little bit of that grass, and that's a no-no. You catch that grass, it is going to send you right around. I mean, it's like the apron is lava. Of course, the grass is lava here at North Wilkesboro.
It certainly is, and he, unfortunately for that 89 machine, has to get back around. No major damage, though, as we go on board with the Ontario native. Gets right there's the grass clip, loops it around.
And he was running a really good line, too. He was real fast. I mean, he had a really good line. I think he just went a little too low there and caught a little bit of that grass. So hopefully he'll be able to recover. Like you said, not a lot of damage, which is very good. I mean, this is you don't want to get any damage at a track like this. As we see, I do believe Stephen Hayes getting a lap back there. Probably was fixing some damage in that previous caution before this one. Do want to shout out one of our sponsors here with Grid Vision. Of course, I want to shout out Reaper Speed Lab. Want to reach top split? Reaper Speed Lab is your one-stop shop for quality setups in the oval racing scene. Established in 2020, Reaper Speed Lab's goal is to offer a competitive setup for all of your oval racing needs, from the top 3 eNASCAR series to the short track competition of late models, modifieds, and legends cars. Visit ReaperSpeedLab.com for more information. Reaper Speed Lab, where top split lives. We definitely appreciate them partnering with Grid Vision here. Of course, we have a couple other sponsors we'll talk about a little bit later, but I do believe Pace Car Light should be going out this time by. Definitely excited to get this racing underway. It's been good so far, even though we've had some cautions. It definitely has been exciting, I'll tell you that. A little bit of a blinking issue there from David Holsey.
Certainly is an issue right there for David Holsey. Hopefully he'll be able to get it going as we see Austin Magel playing with Benny, the pace car truck driver, as he is having a little fun right here at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, good. And, that's funny. You see that. I mean, I remember legends such as Tony Stewart used to play around with the pace car. They would say, stop pushing him. They would tell him to stop.
Well, I don't know about playing that much where he, in fact, turns into the pace truck car, but hey, only in iRacing you can do that.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that something?
Yeah,
it's very hard to see doing what he's doing right there. I'd be careful. Pace car lights have gone out now, though we're going to double them back up and get us back underway. We're 17 laps into this race, and definitely excited to see who is going to make it through this cheese grater of a racetrack, North Wilkesboro. This is going to be quite the challenge. Of course, we weren't here last week for Mother's Day, and of course, they were at Darlington Raceway in real life. These guys got to, I guess, dodge that Darlington bullet. But they don't get to dodge this bullet. This is a tough track, too, so they're going to still get that tough track as we see the pace car dip down pit road. Green flag is back out in the air once again. Austin McGill with a fantastic restart. Really launches, drives away from everybody. Side by side for second place, Joshua Slade and David Holsey duking it out. Right behind them, Jeremy Richmond and Mark Royce.
Great battle right here, and watching on as they head down into turn 3 and 4. McGill pulls out to about a half a second lead over David Holsey as they come off of turn number 4, side by side for second and third as they come across the line here. Almost some 3-wide action as we see Jeremy Richmond, Joshua Slade battle.
Yeah, you see Slade, he kind of looked like he was a little bit tight or something like that. He definitely had some handling conditions there, and that brought him right under fire from Mark Royce there. Royce is able to secure that 4th place position. Handling is definitely going to be everything at this racetrack, and starting to stop in that cold cycle on the tires is definitely not going to help us. Look how close these guys get to that grass. That is a dangerous knife's edge these guys are walking right now.
They certainly are, and looking over at timing and scoring right now, McGill, he's currently running about a 10th off the pace. Now, we had a couple cautions already compared to his fastest lap time, so times are starting to slip, and we'll really see that as the run progresses here, as they work their way back across the line, heading down already back into turn 3 and 4 for your race leader, as we keep an eye on some battles throughout the field. Out of 4, they come. Here comes the battle for 5th position, as more gaggle of trucks try to jockey around for position, try to get themselves situated to set up for the long run.
Yeah, we got some more battling going on further back at the edge of the top 10. I do believe we see Stephen Knight and Matthew Escalara. They are battling for that 11th place position. It looks like Knight has defended a charge there from Escalara. Now Escalara having to deal with Jeff Weimer. Of course, Weimer's been one that has been very consistent this season. But you can see a lot of these drivers suffering from a little bit of a tightness in the middle of the corner. Now, this is a track you're going to have to move up the track a little bit, and you're going to have to – this is a track that it's very difficult to hold one line, like to stay on the bottom all the way. Like, you want to almost diamond the corner, and it's so difficult to do that when you're side by side.
It really is, because of how much tires, your degradation you're going to be putting into that right front as well as the right rear quite very quickly if you keep doing that here and trying to dig in there a little bit deeper through the corner of this racetrack here as they come off of turn number 4, nose to tail here. Here's a little bit of a battle further back. 23 machine of Don Blazer looks to the inside. He will try and get around that machine of Bobby Mantell as they do battle here.
Yeah, Bobby Mantle, of course, he actually had an issue earlier in the race at the start of the race. Of course, spun out, didn't get any damage. He's still alive, but now it looks like he's definitely suffering from the traffic here. Some problems here for Jeff Weimer, slow on the bottom of the racetrack. Caution not out, and he still is running. Don't see really much damage on that race car. We're going to take a replay and see exactly what happened here to the 73. As we watch on board, or watch him right now, as he was battling, I do believe, with Escalara. I think he might have just got loose. Well, so watching right now, I don't think it's happened quite yet. Really wrapping the bottom very good there. I like what I'm seeing from that 73. Got the pass completed on Matthew Escalara. And I think he might have got a problem out of turn 2, possibly.
No, I was off of turn 4 because it was on the front straightaway. This could be it right here as they come off of turn number 4.
Waiting on this problem for the 73.
It just goes to show you how quickly things happen here. Even the cameras can't keep up.
That's right. But of course, looks like maybe right there. Yeah, loose off of 4. Ooh, wow! And look at that, barely kept it off the wall. That would have been a bad day for him if he had hit that wall too.
It would have.
Yeah, that wall is not forgiving here. As I mentioned before, it has no safer barriers. This was a race for the lead is starting to heat up. Austin McGill has gotten caught by David Holsey, and they're actually coming up on lap traffic as well, Taylor.
As Kenny Heath and the 5 machine up ahead of them as they come off turn 4. And looking at the times here, we've already fallen off by anywhere between 4 to 5, half a second off the pace compared to the fast lap times of your race leaders here earlier in this race. But McGill and Halsey are really trying to put the effort down. They've already stretched it out to about a 1.2 second lead over Mark Royce in that 50 machine.
100%. There is some battling going on a little bit further back. Don Blazer's looking up in on Nick Schott here for the 14th position. As for the most part, everybody's pretty single file at the moment. Also, Justin LeBlanc, I think, is trying to challenge Ricky Hudgens. Nick Schott, though, able to defend against Don Blazer. But look at there. Here comes LeBlanc. LeBlanc has had a hot and cold kind of season. He has had issues. He's had good races. A lot of times he just gets into things that he has no business being involved in, and I'm sure he's looking for that not to be the case here tonight as he catches up to that 21.
He's going to do his best as they work their way down into turn 3 and 4. Here comes a little bit of a pass for position between Dale Brooks in that number 32 machine, and then the 12 machine right there of Joshua Slade. This is the battle for P5. Side by side, they'll drag race up the hill in turn number 3, and it looks like the 32 of Dale Brooks will try to complete the pass off turn 4, but Slade is still going to power his way through on the outside lane. Down the hill into turn 1 they go.
Looking at the front end of that 32 as well, he's got a little bit of damage, a little bit of, caught the grass a little bit there. Was able to keep it together, though. This is going to provide an advantage a little bit here to Slade. But front end damage is not what you're going to want to have in these trucks. So I'm hoping that he doesn't have any heating issues, because a lot of times when you get that front end damage, that is exactly what happened. Yellow flag is out. I do believe maybe Bobby Mantle with some issues. Oh, it might be the 66 there.
The North Brunswick driver of Ron Harrington involved.
Yeah, take a look back at this. He's had some bad luck this season as well. It's a tough track. Watch him right now. See what happens here. Just gets loose off the corner. Oh, this is not going to be good. Huge front end damage. Those metal barriers do not give very easily, and they cause quite a bit of damage. And, of course, he went nose first right into it. So that is going to be one more caution here for us here. Of course, as we mentioned, the 66 of Ron Harrington gets into the guardrail there. So he's probably going to be having to come down pit road to get some of that damage repaired, of course. Now, we talked about the fall off, Taylor. We mentioned that. Do you come down pit road now to take a set of tires? I mean, it's a limited resource. You only have 4 down in the pits.
It's a little too early, I think, right now. The lap times are still within reasonable periods for these drivers who are up towards the front. I would save them for the moment. Wait till maybe after lap 50 to consider coming down for your first set of tires, given the fact you only have 4. But we could see some strategy plays.
Yeah, I think now's the time we're going to see it. Let's see if anybody decides to come down. Looks like, for the most part, everybody is really just deciding to stay out. I'm surprised that Dale Brooks didn't maybe try to come down and get some of that damage repaired. It didn't seem like it was hurting him. Like I said, my main concern with front-end damage is, of course, blowing up the engine, and having temperature issues. These trucks are well known in the iRacing service for having those issues. Wouldn't you say, Taylor, when it comes to heating?
Yeah, when you overheat these tires, you are going to have some serious problems and end up blowing a tire very quickly, especially at a track here.
I was talking about the engine. I was talking about the engine.
The engine, too, if you're over-revving it as well as overheating it, it's very quick to overheat and blow as quickly.
Yeah, because, I've even seen it this week. Guys with some setups in the C open, they'll have too much tape on the vehicle, and a lot of times that can cause issues as well. And you want to have as much tape as you can possibly get, but when you have front-end damage, it's kind of a weird thing how iRacing is. When you get front-end damage, it causes overheating issues. But we'll have to see if that affects him. Of course, he hasn't. I wish we had a way to see what the temperature gauge was reading and could see some of that information, but we'll know as soon as we see smoke pouring out of the racetrack.
We certainly will here as the field gets themselves situated. We should get the one-to-go signal next time by as you're on board with Austin McGill, the race leader in that 99.
Yeah, he's definitely been doing good, and I think his track position is key right now. Even though Halsey was really putting pressure on him, I don't think it really matters. I think that it's going to be, especially when the tires start to wear, Halsey's going to have a tough time actually trying to get around Austin McGill. This is going to be his opportunity. Pace car lights are out. If he can do what McGill did and really get a good launch up on that top side, he could possibly get the lead back. I think I'm surprised that some of these guys, I don't know if they have the option to choose starting on the top. I would do that if I had that option. And here we go. Pace car down pit road. Green flag back out once again. A little bit of a wiggle on the start there for McGill, but he's able to get the power down and secures that first place position. Mark Royce trying to look on the inside of David Holsey, not quite able to get there. Side by side, though, Dale Brooks, I do believe, still battling with Joshua Slade for that 5th spot. Look at the run from Slade. Dives it in deep on the top side. And he gains it back on exit. I thought he was going to lose the speed because I think, of course, you sacrifice the exit. Oh, problems. Someone's around. Justin LeBlanc. Big issues for him. This is going to be a lot of damage paid there. I think that is the 21 of Ricky Hudgens. Has some massive front end damage. Caution is back out on the speedway. As we're going to take a look back and see exactly what happened. I know Justin LeBlanc might have just cooked the tires, locked the brakes up or something like that, and it seems like he just shot up in front of Ricky Hudgens from what I saw. Take a look back at this incident. Yeah, it was Justin LeBlanc. That's the one we probably need to focus on there is LeBlanc. Of course, we see a lot of drivers were able to successfully make it through that. But definitely unlucky. We talked about this bad luck that LeBlanc seems to always have. Oh, yeah, locked. I think he locked it up a little bit, trying to avoid, I think, the rear bumper of Steve Gerber. Wouldn't you say, Taylor?
It seems to be the case right here, watching on the replay. And unfortunately for LeBlanc and Gerber, both of them get collected around, and significant damage to LeBlanc and Gerber's machine here. As we get another look,
Correct.
Here's LeBlanc.
Gerber was fine. I think LeBlanc was trying to avoid the back of the 8. Look. See, I think Ricky Hudgens is the one that really got collected there. Sorry to interrupt you there, Taylor.
You're
I just
good.
want to make sure the information was correct.
No, I agree 100%. But like you said, that little bit of a checkup from Gerber causing LeBlanc to loop it around was very unfortunate for LeBlanc, who was looking to have a good run here today.
Yeah, and here comes Ricky Hudgens down pit road, going to be trying to get some of that fixed, and who can blame him? Of course, I do believe LeBlanc also bringing it down. So unfortunate for those two drivers. Probably might even have required repairs. Hopefully that's not the case. Of course, Austin McGill still leads this race. And I think we're going to, like I said, attrition is going to be the name of the game here today. I don't think a lot of these guys aren't going to make it to the end of this race. Taylor, I mean, it's going to be like the Hunger Games here. We're going to see it across the top of the screen, out.
We certainly are, and we're going to see how this plays out. Currently, everyone's still in the race. Only one driver, one lap down. That's Ricky Hudgens in the 21 machine. As we're approaching about quarter distance for today's race.
Yeah, definitely has been very exciting seeing these guys racing around this historic racetrack. So crazy to see the timeline when it comes to this racetrack as well. Back in 2019, I even heard Justin Prince, I know, recently talk about it. 2019, Dale Jr. and some friends came out here and started weed eating, cutting grass, and cleaning up the racetrack. That way, iRacing could come out here and scan it. And lo and behold, here we are in 2023, and we're back racing at North Wilkesboro in real life. Isn't that just a crazy sequence of events?
It certainly is, and it's a great opportunity, and who knows what this could mean for future tracks across the world, maybe. Yeah. But, I think this is just one of the miracle, 1 in a million type scenarios in NASCAR that a track such as hallowed as North Wilkesboro is in such a revival as we're about to go back racing.
And here we go. Green flag is back out in the air. Austin McGill, another great launch from him. I do believe we had a little bit of an issue there with Dale Brooks running into the back of another driver. And it looks like he is definitely has his hands full right now, battling with Josh Slade right now. Of course, right in front of him, I think he might have got into possibly Richmond. As Richmond slide, contact there between Slade and Brooks. They door banged. It's just short track racing at its finest. These guys are definitely using those trucks as weapons in a lot of ways.
They certainly are, and they're getting themselves ready to go here as they come off of turn number 4, side by side, battling for position inside the top 10 as a couple of trucks go around. One truck actually goes down towards pit road. That's a 3 machine of Ronald Holmes.
No caution, no caution. These guys having to take green flag stops. I think they were forced down there. As we take a look back at the replay to see exactly what happened, we're looking at the 3 of Ronald Holmes. And something hit. They were 3 wide in front of him, and I don't think that had anything really to do with it. But look at this. Contact with E.J. Luna to the rear end of the 3, and he is sent through the grass. I'm shocked this did not bring a caution out. E.J. Luna also coming down pit road probably from the front end damage from that lick to his front. As we go back to the live racing here, Austin McGill still leads. But, man, that was a crazy accident. How did that not bring a caution out is my question.
Well, due to the fact that it was out of the racing groove, pretty much. I mean, it was down towards the grass, into the infield, and back into pit road. So, yeah, no caution needed to be brought out by the iRacing officials.
And still racing going on the racetrack. It looks like E.J. Luna coming back up onto the track. It was 3 wide as everyone tries to avoid him. And looks like everybody successfully gets around E.J. Luna as he remerges back onto the racetrack. Also see Don Blazier battling with, I do believe, Matthew Escalera for that 11th place position at the moment. Of course, looks like Escalera wrapping around the top groove, getting some really good runs. He gets clear. But still Austin McGill leads as Don Blazier he's actually still battling here with Escalera. Escalera is running that groove up a little bit higher. I'm wondering how that's going to affect that 43's tires, just considering, I mean, I think the running up there, I think that would probably burn them up a little bit prematurely, possibly. We'll have to wait and see how that all kind of works out. I'm surprised that the fall-off isn't as great. I think we've almost plateaued when it comes to the fall-off, Taylor.
We certainly have, but I think it also has to do with a lot of the fact that we've had multiple cautions leading up to this point in the race at the moment. That's why these lap times are still kind of consistently and plateaued at the moment. As we get further into these longer green flag runs, if that opportunity arises, they'll be able to really see the difference as this race progresses.
We, of course, see Joshua Slade and Brooks. They have been almost like they've had magnets to one another here. Caution is out. For the cause of this caution here, we're going to take a look back and see if we can't find it. I think it might have been possibly Don Blazier here. Oh, yeah, contact with Nick Schott sends Blazier into the inside wall hard. And, of course, Nick Schott goes around. I think Nick Schott probably did not get as much damage. Of course, Blazier gets the brunt of it with that shot to the front end on the inside wall. So we'll take another look back. Of course, you see Don Blazier here getting a little bit. I think they just kind of met in the middle. I would say that's more like a racing deal. I mean, you see Schott kind of got a little bit loose, probably trying to avoid the wall. And then, of course, Blazier a little tight, got into the left rear and sent, of course, Blazier right into the inside wall. Of course, we do see some damage on Nick Schott's side, but it's not as bad as it could have been. Of course, that's not a race ender. I think the damage that Don Blazier got could be a race ender, though.
Certainly seems to be the case here. And look at this. Everybody but your top 3 have decided to come down pit road for the time being.
This is interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting. Top 3, of course, like you said, staying out. This could be very bad for them. I mean, they're going to be a little bit slower than the rest of the field. But while we have a moment, let's take a quick step away and pay some attention to our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Grid Vision. Green flag is back out here for the Global Racing Truck Series. Austin McGill with another great restart. Side by side, though, Mark Royce and David Holsey. Keep in mind, these guys are on older tires. They did stay out. We saw the majority of the field actually go down pit road. But it looks like these guys actually got a heck of a launch considering they're on older tires. We see Michael Lester, do believe, trying to make something happen. Almost verging on 3 wide here for that 6th, 7th, and 8th spot.
Really great race. Go ahead, there.
No, I'm sorry. I was just saying I was kind of mistaken there. It was actually 7th on back there. That was that battle. Go ahead, Taylor.
Yeah, I was watching that battle for 7th here as they work their way down into turn 3 and 4. Can you see the differences of tires and how aggressive these drivers are going to be as they work their way off turn number 4? There you see the 6 of Michael Lester in big trouble as everyone's going to utilize the outside lane. He has 28 lap older tires compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, he is definitely having some struggles at the moment. Everybody's kind of able to get by him. I think he got really loose there. So Michael Lester definitely is not having a very good handling car at the moment. As we see Jeff Weimer, of course, he was involved in an accident a little bit earlier, so he's actually recovering quite nicely at the moment. Back up into 5th now. As we see, of course, Dale Brooks moves his way up into 3rd, getting by Mark Royce. And I think he got himself some probably, I don't think he actually went down pit road, did he?
Royce did not. He stayed out.
Yeah, Dale Brooks did, though. So you can really see the value of those new tires. Brooks able to drive his way up to 3rd place right now. He's all over the bumper of David Holsey. You see Holsey's definitely a little bit squirrely off the corner. Jeff Weimer now on the inside of Mark Royce for the 4th place spot. And here comes Dale Brooks to the inside of the 57. Caution is Mac out. And I do believe possibly Stephen Hayes with an issue here. See, he's got some front end damage. Take a look to see what happened here. Of course, I think he was racing with Jeremy Richmond. And, yep, Richmond got loose out of the corner. Came down and kind of tagged the 13. Nothing really I don't think Stephen Hayes could have done in that situation. I'll take one more look at it. Taking a look here, you see right here, the 13. I mean, he did come up a little bit, but I think both of those guys kind of met in the middle. We've seen that a lot here today. It's just this racetrack looks wide, but with the way you have to use the whole track a lot of times, it's not as wide as it probably could be. I mean, and these guys a lot of times end up having some contact like that. We see a lot more drivers actually coming down pit road here. Probably maybe to fix some damage, maybe. I see Michael Lester, I think, came down pit road. We got Justin LeBlanc, Stephen Knight. Of course, Nick Schott as well. But Austin McGill, David Holsey, those two have still stayed out. Mark Royce as well. So this is what you were talking about earlier, Taylor, about just the different strategies we're going to see here today. And they're playing out right now before our very eyes.
They certainly are. We're seeing at least 3 drivers deciding to stay out, some drivers coming down pit road right now to fix some damage, and then some who decided to wait till after that 50-lap mark to come down and put some fresh tires on. So this is going to be interesting. Now, for drivers like McGill, Holsey, and Brooks, they could possibly stay out for as long as possible until they maybe need to come down for fuel. I remember doing something similar like this at Martinsville with how many cautions they are, saving the tires just by staying out. Track position is king when it comes to this.
It is, but then again, we saw how quick Dale Brooks was. I mean, he was really starting to put some pressure on David Holsey before that caution came out. I think he might have been able to possibly take the lead. But, I think, track position is important. It just depends on how much these guys want to make these passes. I mean, can Dale Brooks utilize those new tires? And by the time he does make a pass on David Holsey, could his his tires be kind of equalized with Austin McGill? Of course, I do want to give a quick shout out to another one of our sponsors here at Grid Vision, SimSearch. Are you a iRacing setup builder wanting to make a little extra money off of your building? Do you want to sell your old wheeler pedals sitting in your closet that are collecting dust? You may want to offer iRacing painting services. SimSearch.com is a virtual flea market that is specifically tailored to sim enthusiasts. Check them out today at SimSearch.com. Of course, pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to go back green once again. Of course, Austin McGill once again bumping the pace car. What was that? Days of Thunder hit the pace car.
No, he hit everything but the pace car. So far that's the case for some of these drivers, but for our driver of Austin McGill, he has yet to do that. He's hit the pace car, but not everything else.
That's right. He is the opposite of Cole Trickle, right? Here we go. Pace car down pit road. Green flag back out. Big wiggle for Dale Brooks in front of Mark Royce. That gives David Holsey a pretty good advantage. See, Brooks seems like he just did not fire off like he needed to. I think he spun the tires a little bit there, something we haven't seen a whole lot. As it looks like Josh Slade got into the outside wall, but there goes David Holsey around in front of the field. Huge damage there for Steve Gerber. Matthew Escalera also involved. Kenny Heath. A lot of drivers getting some heavy damage out of that whole situation. David Holsey, though, kind of the domino that kicked it all off. I'm wondering if I think he might have had some help.
Looks like to be the case here. We're going to get a look at that replay here, but that's where the patience got to come into play here. And unfortunately for some of these drivers, it's going to cost them dearly where it could put them out of the race.
Very much a fact. I mean, we saw David Holsey was up in front. And, of course, we're watching through Nick Schott's eyes here. And see, at the same time, Stephen Knight went around. So two separate incidents at the same time. Of course, the one in the front was involving David Holsey. But, yeah, you saw Nick Schott having an issue at the same exact time, it seemed to be. Or should I say Stephen Knight at the same time. But looking back here at the problem with David Holsey, you see he's got Brooks. Yeah, Brooks tags his rear end. And that's what sends him around. And Steve Gerber just nowhere to go. Matthew Escalera turns this track into a parking lot for a few seconds there.
It certainly is here. And here we go. Getting ready to go back at it again. 78 laps in the books, though. As Dale Brooks will look like he will retake the race lead. And Austin McGill coming down pit road to get some fresh tires.
This is kind of a big weighty decision here for Austin McGill. I mean, you don't want to be put back into this pack. You've seen how dangerous that is. So I don't know. I mean, I think, yeah, he's going to need tires at some point. He's going to need to fuel up. But I think after this, if you can get that lead, I would try to stay there as long as you can. Because, I mean, you do not want to be in this group. I mean, we've already seen it, with other drivers, deep in the field that have had issues. So you could have a fast truck, but you got to be really careful.
You do have to be so careful here, but right now Dale Brooks will be the new race leader. Weimer second and McGinley third. So some damaged race trucks up at the front of the field, but they have some fresh tires and clean racetrack ahead of them.
Do want to mention our lap down drivers. Nick Schott has gone a lap down. David Holsey, Matthew Escalera, Stephen Hayes. So a lot of drivers have gone a lap down. Of course, Holsey getting off of pit road. He's going to be wanting to get that lap back. But, yeah, definitely some drivers trying to get some damage repaired out there. Unfortunate. So sad for Holsey. I mean, just think about this. I mean, the guy qualified on the pole, was fastest in practice, and unfortunately finds himself now outside of the top 15. Just a lot of bad luck with that 57. I always root for David Holsey, even though I'm supposed to be non-biased. I always root for him because he's really fast and just always seems to have some bad luck. But looks like we're going to be getting that green flag back out here momentarily. Pace car lights are out. Like you said, Dale Brooks in the lead. Of course, he does have some front-end damage, and he might have even picked up some more out of that contact with David Holsey. We'll have to wait and see what that looks like for him. Green flag back out. Really good launch for Dale Brooks there. Of course, Jeff Weimer, I do believe, battling now with Chad McGinley. Haven't seen Chad McGinley up in the front very much here so far today, but he is definitely making his presence known. Also, Bobby Mantle He was close. He was in the top 5 earlier today. First time being back, I do believe, though, as he is all over the back bumper of the 28.
It's going to be interesting to see what that 28 machine can do as we now watch the 50 of Mark Royce trying to fight his way back through the field after some fresh tires. And we're really starting to see the difference, even of just less than 20 laps difference between tires here as we see the field work their way through. How about Bobby Mantell, who's trying to get around Joshua Slade for the 4th spot.
Yeah, and also keep an eye on Austin McGill. He has been carving his way through this field. He's now up into that, I do believe, 7th place position and just got by Michael Hayes like he wasn't even moving. And he comes up to Bobby Mantle, who you just mentioned. Caution is out. Not quite sure why the caution is out, but I do believe David Holsey should be the lucky dog. You see a little bit of smoke there. I'm wondering what happened here. Oh, might have been Stephen Knight, of course, the man on the grass there. We're not going to pay him to cut that grass. I hope he knows that. Take a look back at the replay and see exactly what happened here to Mr. Knight. He's all by himself. And yeah, just got loose off of the exit of turn 2. Locked it up pretty good. Avoided the metal barrier, which is good. I think he already had some damage to begin with. But luckily for him, and luckily for everybody else, no one really getting involved in any damage here. That could have definitely been a whole lot worse, for sure. Of course, looks like for the most part, no one really coming down pit road. David Holsey, as I mentioned, gets his lap back. He is now up into 15th position. So it's going to definitely have to make the slow march to try to get back up through this field. But I'm definitely watching that 99. I think he's got a lot of pace. It's just going to be about him taking the safest route to get back to the front. I mean, you can see how much tires were really benefiting that 99, wouldn't you say, Taylor?
It certainly is, and he is going to be a man on a mission as this race progresses, as he tries to work his way up to the field. But he's being smart. He's picking them off one by one, not pushing the envelope, working his way up through the field.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely being smart about it. But, you know, even being smart at a track like this, I mean, anything can happen at any moment. I mean, it's just we've seen it. You know, I consider Steve Gerber to be a very smart driver, but, you know, what do you do when you got a car spinning on this track? I mean, right in front of you. So, I mean, things can happen at a moment's notice. And a lot of times, you know, you might be leaving with a little bit of heartbreak here at North Wilkesboro. This place will break your heart. That's for sure. She's a mean woman.
She certainly is, and she is definitely a heartbreaker as we work our way around the circuit.
100%. Of course, I do believe possibly the pace car lights, yep, going out. So we're going to be going green once again here. Dale Brooks in the lead. Jeff Weimer second. Chad McGinley's in third. I've been impressed with Joshua Slade here. He's been up in the top 5 for quite a bit here. Hasn't gotten up to the lead yet, but I think that he does maybe have the speed to do it. I know Chad McGinley as well in the 28. He is, I do believe, a winner this season, so I'm sure he is aching to get back to victory lane here as we enter 3 and 4, getting ready to have that pace car dip down pit road as Dale Brooks once again in control as the green flag flies once again here in the Global Racing Truck Series. And a really good launch there for Jeff Weimer. Almost is able to stay side by side with Dale Brooks into 1 and 2, but Brooks now has gotten the lead secure and a little bit of a cluster here. I think Weimer backing him up a little bit here. They're kind of almost a bottleneck behind him. You see Chad McGinley side by side with Joshua Slade at the moment. Oh, problems for Kenny Heath. No caution, though. Still side by side, though. Austin McGill still working his way through the field. He's now up to 5th, trying to get by Mark Royce up on the top groove as Royce follows right behind McGinley. Looks like Royce decides to jump up in front of Mantle. It almost is like how at some tracks, you know, if you go to the top, you kind of get a steamrolled, or should I say like a train passing by you, race cars. It's almost the same way for the bottom at this racetrack here at North Wilkesboro.
It certainly is, and you're actually right on board here with the number 99 of Austin McGill. You're seeing how he's able to hold his line through the middle of the corner, gets right to that white line, not cutting over to the grass, and gets a great run off exit. He'll look to the inside now of Joshua Slade for that third spot, and you already see a difference in the time between the two drivers as he comes across the line. Let's see what the time is for him as he works his way across. An 1882 and 1902, so 2/10 faster and starting to close in quickly onto your top two.
Yeah, he is looking really quick. And this is not a surprise, in my opinion, just considering, if I'm not mistaken, he won recently at a road course in this series. And, North Wilkesboro, not a road course, but it does take that kind of road course skill, I'd say, being able to really be able to be gentle on the brakes, gentle getting back onto the gas. And I think that is something that is very important that Austin McGill has. And I think he's going to be dangerous here. He's going to be one that could possibly get up here and challenge Dale Brooks. We'll have to wait and see. Brooks, of course, with about a 0.6 of a second lead right now on Jeff Weimer. But now that Austin McGill has gotten clear and is no longer side by side, he is coming, and he is coming quick as Mark Royce as well gets by Joshua Slade. So Slade's starting to struggle a little bit here.
Slade is starting to struggle quite a bit here as he is starting to fall back just a little bit. A 1932, he's really struggling for grip for this time. Hopefully didn't burn too much of his equipment off as we see Austin McGill, your pole sitter, really closing in on that dirty south machine of Jeff Weimer in the second spot as they come off turn 4. Look at the run you see McGill get as he closes in, heading down into 1.
Yeah, and also do want to update. Kenny Heath actually was on the lead lap, just came down pit road. He's still on pit road, has gone now 2 laps down. So I was looking back to see if any accident happened or anything like that. I think he might have just came down maybe to get some damage fixed. No accident. Racing still continues. Dale Brooks still with that 0.6 of a second lead at the moment. So we take a look back, there might have been some damage. I think our camera man, Austin Derbyshire, might have found something here. As we take a replay, yeah, look at that. Yeah, there was a little bit of something that went wrong there. I do believe Stephen Hayes got into the rear end of the 5, sent him for a ride through the grass, and I think that Kenny Heath probably just decided, I'm going to go ahead and go down pit road.
Smart move right there by Kenny Heath, but unfortunate for him, he's now sitting 19th, 4 laps down. In fact, we only have 14 drivers on the lead lap at the time, as we see Dale Brooks getting ready to close in on the back end of the tail end of the lead lap field.
And look at this, a little bit further back, we see Jeremy Richmond drifting it into 1. He was trying to make a pass on Michael Hayes. I was getting ready to talk about that. He was looking on Michael Hayes and then just locked up the tires, went sideways, drifted it through all of 1 and 2, and somehow was able to keep it going. Of course, he is now being pressured by Justin LeBlanc, and of course, LeBlanc has had his fair share of issues here. But what a save there for Richmond. I hope maybe we could pull that up and watch that. That was pretty crazy to watch. Well, it looks like we do not have access. The cameras were not looking at that time. But Jeremy Richmond, definitely heck of a save. Big shout out to him. Gill has gotten by, I do believe, Jeff Weimer. So he is now on his way to possibly getting up there to Dale Brooks. Let's take a replay, I do believe. And I think we did find the pass here for that second spot here. As we see McGill goes to the inside, side by side with Weimer. And just look at the rotation that Austin McGill has there. Able to make that pass look easy.
Make it like a beautiful pass indeed, and now he tries to set his sights on Dale Brooks half a second back and closing. There you see the race leader, Dale Brooks, as you're right on board with Austin McGill, pulling away as they close in on lap traffic.
Yeah, a lot of lap traffic. I do believe that is the 24 of E.J. Luna right there. And you see the lap time difference. I mean, not this time. This time I think they were Dale Brooks was a little bit quicker, but the time before, Austin McGill was about 0.2 faster, so I'm interested to see what this lap is going to look like. Ooh, a little bit of a scrape against the wall there from the 99. Of course, it's just a little bit of a kiss. And look at that, yeah, 1/10 faster that time by. So McGill definitely, I think he's pushing it right now. He wants that lead back here. And what is Dale Brooks going to do to keep this lead? Of course, Dale Brooks is a tough customer himself. He is not one that usually just allows someone to get by him. He's going to race you.
He certainly is going to race you hard and race you clean. He is one of the cleanest drivers in the series as he tries to get a good run off of turn 2. And as he sets his sights, he thinks about going to the outside lane, try to build a little momentum on the outside to get a good run. And look at the time he gains on the back bumper of Dale Brooks.
Yeah, for sure. He's getting a lot of momentum off the corner here as he gets right up to the back bumper. Also see Jeff Weimer under fire from Mark Royce, but here comes Austin McGill to the inside. It looks like Dale Brooks relents. Of course, they're also complicated the fact that there's Stephen Hayes is right there as well, as he is actually going to go now, I do believe, his second lap down. So Austin McGill, new leader, back to the lead, I should say, as Mark Royce, I do believe, has gotten the pass completed on Jeff Weimer. But he's now up to third. I'll tell you that 50 has been looking really strong here tonight as well. As Green Flag Racing continues, 110 laps now. We're closing in quickly on the halfway point.
Closing in quickly here as we see the number 50 machine of Mark Royce also now starting to work his way through the field. And he gets a good run, gets around the lap car, as well as the 73 machine of Jeff Weimer for that third spot. As we go a little further back, Michael Hayes and Joshua Slade battling for that seventh position for the Denton native as he gets a good run down on the inside, side-by-side battle. And how about another driver getting involved? That's Jeremy Richmond in the 98 closing in. He thought about going three wide.
Yeah, he did. I mean, and who could blame him? When you're side-by-side at a track like this, it really slows you down quite a bit. It looks like Slade is going to relent and drops down right behind Michael Hayes here. So Hayes is going to be able to maintain that seventh spot. Oh, Richmond again, sideways. Woo! Does he save it? And I think he does. Wow. Man, Richmond has been very loose under braking, but somehow he's been able to keep it together. He has had multiple saves here tonight.
He's had a lot of close calls here, and hopefully he can keep that going for him as they work their way through. This is about a little further back. This is the 28 machine. Currently, that is the... I'm trying to get the name of the driver in that 28 machine.
That is Chad McGinley. Chad McGinley in the 28. Of course, he is in that fifth spot, getting around Stephen Hayes, of course, lap traffic. But Austin McGill has been as well putting guys a lap down. I think he just actually put Michael Lester a lap down, who is in the 13th spot. So now only 12 drivers remain on the lead lap at the moment. And what a race we have seen thus far. Mark Royce starting to run down Dale Brooks. Watch out for this 50 Ford here. He is looking very quick. And I think Dale Brooks might have met his match here if that 50 gets up there. You can see, look at the closing rate there for that 50. He is really, really quick. I think he sacrificed a little bit on exit, though, to really catch in on the entry. Now, that's one thing about a track like this. You do not want to fall victim to that carrot on a stick mentality.
No, you certainly do not. You have to be careful with that and make sure you take care of your equipment. As here comes Mark Royce with a head of steam. He's going to try to close into the back bumper of Dale Brooks to try and get up to second place. And those tires are really helping him out as he's closing in quickly. He's 0.4 of a second in closing.
Yeah, he's definitely fast, but I think he's burning them up a little bit here. I saw on the exit of 4 there, he got a big wiggle. So I feel like he's pushing probably a little bit harder than I think he probably should be. Austin McGill, though, putting some more drivers, even more laps down. I think EJ Luna just now went to his 5th lap down. So McGill is definitely like Pac-Man out here, taking these guys' laps away from him. And you can't blame him for doing that. I mean, he's trying to limit the amount of competition he could possibly have here. As you see Dale Brooks getting around EJ Luna. Of course, Luna having a little bit of a bad day. We talked about it on the top of the broadcast about Luna, how he had jumped up quite a bit of spots up into the top 10 and the points. And fortunately just not having as good of a day as he could have here today to keep that momentum going.
Certainly seems to be the case here as we're watching through the field, keeping an eye on some of the big movers and shakers of today's race so far. And currently one of the biggest movers, besides Dale Brooks, of course, has to go to the driver in the 85, Justin LeBlanc, started 16th. He's now running inside the top 10 comfortably as he continues to push on through the field.
Yeah, watching a battle, I do believe, of course, Jeremy Richmond now battling side-by-side with Joshua Slade. Oh, Richmond into the wall a little bit there. I'll tell you, that guy has been, I'm shocked he's been able to keep that truck in one piece. So he has been sideways. He has been in the wall. You see the damage on the right side there. He has somehow kept it in one piece. As looks like Joshua Slade, though, moves up to the 9th position. Definitely a great job there for that 98 machine. I think that they just need to make a little bit of an adjustment on that race car to kind of tighten it up a little bit. I think he's just too loose. Loose under braking is not something you want to have. And it might, one thing that is very important at a track like North Wilkesboro is, brake bias. A lot of people don't, kind of ignore that. But you're on the brakes quite a bit here at North Wilkesboro. So I think that could definitely be something that would be a good call to maybe, maybe adjust the brake bias a little bit to maybe make it not so loose under braking.
Yeah, you have to make a lot of adjustments to the brake bias in order to make it work out well for you, and be careful of how much input, as we see some issues up ahead.
Yeah, we saw, I do believe, 3 wide there as they were trying to get by Michael Lester. But Austin McGill now with a 1.5-second lead. That almost was a bad deal there. We see, of course, I do believe that's Ricky Hudgens right there in the picture. He almost had an incident there when he was trying to get by Michael Lester. Nick Schott was almost involved too. They were able to somehow make it through that. But I do believe next on the chopping block to go a lap down will be David Holsey, and Austin McGill is coming. I mean, look at the speed that he has, 19.524. Of course, that's not anywhere close to what his best lap was, but compared to the rest of the field, he is the fastest driver on the racetrack. The only one that's even close is the 28 of Chad McGinley, and McGinley's not that far off of his pace as well. So watch out for that 28. He seems like he's got good long-run pace.
He certainly does have some good long-run pace here. He's going to make a good run as he tries to close in on Jeff Weimer for the 4th spot. McGinley just taking his time, trying to get a good run in. Look at how much speed he tries to carry in. Make sure he gets a good corner entry, backs it off a little bit, then puts the hammer down to pull away off turn 4.
Yeah, definitely very fast in that 28. That's not a surprise to me. I mean, he's a winner this season, and wins do not come easy in this at this racetrack. As of course, still more lap traffic out here as drivers trying to get by. See Dale Brooks. This is hurting Dale Brooks, having to try to get by Matthew Escalara, and of course Steve Gerber. This is bringing Mark Royce right into this picture. Can Royce capitalize? Maybe use one of these drivers as a pick. Figure out. It all depends on when. Oh, Brooks sideways out of 4. Able to keep it gathered up or gather it back up and still keep that thing straight. Long green flag run we're having right here. I love this. Right, I'm going to take a cockpit camera here from Royce as he goes, I do believe, to the inside. And he makes the pass look easy. Now
he certainly does.
Second place. Go ahead.
Great drive right there for him as he continues on, moving up into P2 for Mark Royce. Big slide, though, off turn 2, gathers it back up, continues on his way as he tries to pull away from Dale Brooks. He's got to be careful with how much sliding he's doing. He's going to tear up those rear-end tires very quickly.
He definitely could very well do that. Of course, Austin McGill is over 3 seconds ahead of Mark Royce. He is on another planet at the moment. But, of course, he is in a lot of lap traffic. Now he's going to be putting Michael Lester, I do believe, a second lap down. And Lester getting a little bit wiggly off the corner. And look at this. I mean, Austin is having to carve his way through here. He's really having to have a certain amount of race awareness in order to make it through here safely. I mean, lap traffic can a lot of times be almost like coming through a minefield. As, of course, I am watching Jeremy Richmond a little bit further back. He is now making the pass on Joshua Slade side by side for the 9th spot. And it looks like Richmond does make the pass, so it looks like that truck is starting to handle a little bit better for that 98. Of course, Joshua Slade at one moment in this race was up in the front. Now, I do believe we have a pass as well going on for 4th place. Chad McGinley side by side with Jeff Weimer. I don't believe this battle is over quite yet. It looks like now it's over. It looks like Chad McGinley able to make the pass, moves up into 4th. Now, of course, he has about 2 seconds to get up to Dale Brooks, so quite a long journey that he has to make in that at the top motorsports machine.
Watching on here as we see the 28 machine of McGinley trying to keep ahead of Scott Weimer for that fourth spot. A good battle between the two of them as they head off into turn 3 and 4. You see Weimer trying to get a little bit of that higher line. He stays, dives it down, almost diamonding the corners to get the run he needs off corner exit. But McGinley staying up half a lane higher throughout the entire corner.
Yeah, and look, I want to turn our attention a little bit further up. Mark Royce 3 wide in the middle as they are going through lamp traffic. This is a caution waiting to happen. It looks like they were able to make it through successfully. This lap traffic is definitely very dangerous for these two drivers. Dale Brooks almost into the back of Escalara there. Luckily not. I think he had a little bit more patience trying to make sure that he does not make a mistake here. Now I'm wondering, I don't think these guys are racing for position. I think that they are just definitely obstacles. North Wilkesboro has turned into a little bit of an obstacle course here. And Chad McGinley and Jeff Weimer now having to get by Michael Lester. They went 3 wide for just a moment. 3 wide, something that you don't see often here at this racetrack. But you mentioned in the truck race that it actually happened more than they probably like to mention.
It certainly did. So we're going to see, hopefully, it continuing on here and putting on some more great racing side by side a little further up between the 43 and the 32. That's Dale Brooks, and then the 43 machine of Matthew Escalar laps down. Escalar gets a little bit too close for comfort right there on Dale Brooks. Almost loses it off turn 4.
Yeah, this has been a really good green run. I'm surprised at how green this has been. And here comes Brooks. He's going to try to see if he can't battle back on Mark Royce. I think Royce might have burned his equipment up. And I kind of said that earlier. I kind of felt like he was burning his stuff up, driving it really hard, chasing that carrot that was Dale Brooks. And there goes Brooks right back up to the second spot. Now, of course, 4.6 seconds ahead of them is Austin McGill. So these guys have a long way to go to get up to that 99. He is a rocket ship. Still the fastest car on the racetrack by far, actually. He's the fastest car, I do believe. Well, actually, last time by, Brooks was the fastest car, but Austin McGill definitely has been a rocket ship here today. They came prepared for sure. Taking a look through the field here. Not a whole lot of close racing. We do see Michael Hayes. He's fairly close to Bobby Mantle right now. He's about, I do believe, 4/10 out in front, or behind, I should say, Bobby Mantle. So that could be a battle that somewhat maybe develops. They've been quite close for this entire run, and we are getting closer and closer to that 100 laps to go mark. Now that this race has been green, it has been flying by.
It really has been flying by here, and we're already almost closing in on 100 laps to go, and a couple of trucks have come down pit road. Those are some ones that are fixing damage, but Nick Schatz, the 60, decided to come down to get some damage as well as make a pit stop.
Here we go. Austin McGill is going to be putting Ricky Hudgens a lap down. Now that is going to leave 11 drivers on the lead lap right now. So Hudgens, of course, has had a little bit of a up and down day. He's got some heavy front end damage. Of course, he's been one of the most consistent drivers all season long, and unfortunately now this is not the race for him. This could definitely make him drop in the points. Was our points leader not long ago as well, but I think he's just had some unfortunate races. Oh, Austin McGill getting a little bit tight there in the center of the corner. Makes him get a little bit loose on the exit. And that is going to possibly allow Ricky Hudgens to have a chance, a fighting chance, to get that lap back. It looks like McGill does keep the car going in the right direction. You can see how much that cost McGill, too. Dale Brooks caught up a little bit because of that little bit of momentary issue.
Yeah, he did. As we see a little bit of crossover move a little further back between the 12 machine right there. That's Joshua Slade trying to get around that 53 machine. Can't get it happening. That's actually David Holsley in the 57. So here comes McGill down to the inside. He'll try to put that number 12 a lap down. And now we have only 10 cars left on the lead lap.
Yeah, this is definitely crazy to see him. He's almost getting ready to put, I do believe, David Holsey a lap down. We see a battle, though, for third. We saw Chad McGinley actually move up to third, getting around Mark Royce. So Royce is really starting to struggle right now. I mean, we saw he was really strong in the early to mid run, but now in this long run, he is not as good as he was. So definitely going to be wanting to get a fresh set of shoes on that race car. He's probably praying for some sort of caution. As we see, of course, Austin McGill back to him. He has now put, I do believe, as we mentioned, Joshua Slade a lap down. Now going to be seeing if he can't work his way up there to David Holsey. And I think he wants to put Holsey a lap down because, I mean, he knows that Holsey was pretty quick at the early goings of this race. Mark Royce is coming down pit road. Green flag stop. Never thought I'd see the day, but it looks like he is struggling enough that he feels like he's got to come down. That's interesting. Hometown Myrtle Beach. I used to live in Myrtle Beach. But that's interesting. What do you think of that, him coming down pit road? Do you think it's just because the tires were worn out?
It could be. I mean, looking over these drivers such as Austin McGill and Dale Brooks, they've been on their tires for anywhere between 76 to 94 laps. So those tires definitely are not cooperating with them, except for maybe Austin McGill, who's doing pretty good. He's already only a second off his fastest lap of the race so far. So it's an interesting strategy call, I have to say. For drivers, though, it's going to be interesting how it plays out further into the run and whether Austin McGill will respond, because he knows Royce was definitely one of those drivers who could keep pace with him.
Yeah, I mean, he was, but that's the thing about it, though. He's going to go, multiple laps down, I say, for coming down pit road. I think he is now 1 lap down. Does he go 2? Has he come off of pit road already?
He has. He's on the track
so
now.
He only lost 1 lap. That's interesting to know. This actually could work out well if he's able to, because, I mean, you can see already the lap time difference. I mean, he's about a second faster. And, this actually could be. He's right there. There's Mark Roy. No, that's actually Michael Lester. My apologies. They have similar-looking race cars. But if he's a second faster, he could make something happen here. We'll have to wait and see how this kind of all plays out. I mean, a second faster is quite a substantial amount. This could be an interesting strategy I did not consider. Yeah, I mean, I thought he would go multiple laps down, but didn't. Also saw Chad McGinley, I do believe, just took away second from Dale Brooks. So watch out for that 28. He is actually running really fast right now. He's not as fast as leader Austin McGill, though. Looks like Jeff Weimer with a little bit of issue here. He's slow on the bottom. Take a look back here and see exactly what happened with Weimer. Tires are so worn out right now. I think everybody is struggling. Look at that, loose off of the corner. It's just so hard. When the tires are this worn, it's so hard to get back onto the gas. Definitely some problems there. And when you go sideways like that, that just only exacerbates the issue as well. Oh, problem for Richmond. Sideways almost in front of the field. That almost could have been a caution right there. Richmond has just been having a tough time here today.
Yeah, Richmond really struggling. How about that save, though? And almost took out your race leader, Austin McGill, as he was right in front of him. As McGill will now put a couple of more trucks a lap down. He'll get around the 23 machine once again. That's Don Blazer, putting him another lap down. He just got around Holsey to put him 1 lap down, who's keeping pace. He wants to be that first car 1 lap down in the 8th spot as the rest of the field continues on. His next target, Justin LeBlanc in the 85.
And it won't be long before he gets there to him. Of course, he was 10th faster last time by, and we'll have to see how this all kind of plays out. Watching Mark Royce here, he's going to be trying to get by Chad McGinley. Of course, he is a lap down. That is not for position. But Mark Royce definitely is going to be trying his best to get up there to Joshua Slade, Ricky Hudgens, Jeremy Richmond, David Holsey, to get that lucky dog spot. That way, if something does go wrong here, I mean, I'm willing to bet we're going to have a late race caution. I think that is going to happen. And if that's the case, I want to be that lucky dog.
Now, one thing you pointed out earlier in the race, the drivers can go on fuel for about 180 laps, correct?
That is correct.
Well, I looked over the notes. Austin McGill could technically, if he wanted to, go to the end of the race on this set of tires and the fuel run that he has. Everyone else who has not pitted, who are in the 100 lap mark, which is Chad McGinley, Dale Brooks, they're going to be close. They might actually have to come down pit road to get fuel at least to make it to the end. So something to keep in mind of, and seeing if Austin McGill can stretch it that far. I doubt he will, because like you said, we could see a late race caution. Plus also, those tires are not going to be happy if they end up staying on, because that's 172 laps.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think his tires will make it that long, to be honest with you. I mean, just seeing everybody else, I know he's been handling really well, but I think that his tires are going to be screaming at him. I mean, and he does have a real chance possibly blowing one of those tires. So I don't know. I mean, this is going to be interesting. I think he's just going to hold on and pray that possibly a caution comes out. Mark Royce, though, just got by Ricky Hudgens and I do believe Jeremy Richmond. So all he has to do now is get by David Holsey, and he will be the lucky dog.
And he's closing in very quick right now. Mark Royce ran a 19:01, 0.8 of a second faster than Austin McGill with a 19:08.04.
Yeah, so if a late race caution does come out, Mark Royce is going to be in a really good spot. Now, if this race goes completely green to the end,
there we go.
Oh, caution is out. Jeremy Richmond, he's been having struggles all race long, and it looks like finally the water, or should I say, the egg has broken. Let's see exactly what happened here with the 98. Looks like he might have lost it all. Yep, right out of turn 4. Interesting. In the straightaway. Oh, huge hit there for Steve Gerber. And I'm pretty sure Richmond is going to be done. You see the black smoke pouring out of that race truck. And he is going to be taking it to the, looks like he's going to be taking it and loading it back onto the trailer. Unfortunate there. Let's take a quick step away, and we'll be right back with some more racing action here at North Wilkesboro.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Green flag is back out in the air as most of these drivers have gotten some fresh tires. Really good restart there from Chad McGinley. Looks like Austin McGill, though, has the advantage into turn 1 and 2. He's able to get separated here. Side by side, though, for third place. Bobby Mansell and Dale Brooks duking it out. Big battle going on. Of course, side by side as well behind them is Michael Hayes. Tries to see if he can't maybe get one over on Jeff Weimer. This is when could we see cautions breed cautions? That is definitely a distinct possibility. Mansell almost gets turned by Weimer there. Definitely a lot of racing going on here. Of course, Mark Royce did get his lap back. And, of course, Joshua Slade as well. And I think Slade actually stayed out to receive that late lap back. So he's going to be on the older tires. As we see Weimer still racing with Justin LeBlanc there. Austin McGill in the lead. Chad McGinley, though, of course, he's been the one that has been matching Austin lap for lap all race long on the long run. So I'm curious to see what Chad can do here.
In fact, Chad McGinley just ran his fastest lap of the race in 18.773. So really good run for him right now as he's trying to keep pace with your race leader, Austin McGill. Here comes a look to the inside. Jeff Weimer around Michael Hayes for the 5th spot. And he will complete the lap pass here as Dale Brooks watches on in 3rd.
Yeah, Jeff Weimer's definitely had a really, really successful day here. Of course, David Holsey also battling, I do believe, for that 8th spot or 7th spot. And here comes Bobby Mantle trying to get underneath Dale Brooks. Mantle has had a really good day as well, the 89. I know he has always struggled with some bad luck. Usually doesn't finish a lot of these races, but I'll tell you, he's looking really good here. Oh, there goes Jeff Weimer around in front of the field. Caution is out.
Michael Hayes also gets looped around. And the 85 of LeBlanc.
That is unfortunate. And that was interesting because Weimer was all by himself. No contact caused that. It looks like just all of a sudden lost it in the middle of the corner. It wasn't even under braking. Taking a look back and see, like, maybe it could have been under a little bit of braking there. Maybe he was still trail braking, turning the wheel too much. LeBlanc trying to dodge it, and that's where he spun around. He locks it up and does not hit the wall. So that's a good driving for LeBlanc. Even though he did lose some spots there, that could have been a whole lot worse for LeBlanc. He could have easily destroyed his race. As we look off the back end of LeBlanc here. And, oh, well, he did get some rear end damage there. Matthew Escalara got heavy into the rear. I do want to give a shout out to Paul Durber. I do believe that's. Thank you for subscribing to us or following us. But yeah, definitely. I think I might have spoken into existence, Taylor. Cautions breed cautions.
They certainly do.
You give some of these guys new tires, they're gonna know they ain't gonna know how to act. I mean, think about that. These guys have been on, almost 100 lap on their tires, and then they go to being on new tires. That's quite the transition to get used to.
It very much is. And of course, for some of these drivers now, with them skidding their tires, like Weimer, like also LeBlanc, they've already pretty much used up all those tires skidding across the track.
That's a good point for sure. Of course, most of these drivers still have probably some sets left. I mean, think about this. What's really interesting, we've been 184 laps in this race. Austin McGill's only pitted twice. Like, that's pretty crazy to me. Like, of course, some other drivers have pitted more than that. Of course, Mark Royce, he's pitted 3 times. Justin LeBlanc has pitted 9 times. And I'm assuming that's probably to get damage fixed. Of course, this is going to allow, I do believe, Ricky Hudgens to get a lap back, that caution coming out. So good on him to get back on the lead lap. Of course, he does still have some heavy damage on that race truck. At the moment, 11 drivers on the lead lap. Do a quick rundown through the top 10. Austin McGill in first, Chad McGinley second. Dale Brooks is in third. Bobby Mantle's fourth. Michael Hayes is in fifth. Mark Royce is in sixth. Justin LeBlanc seventh. David Holsey 8th, Jeff Weimer's in 9th, and Joshua Slade rounds out our top 10 at the moment. So a lot of these drivers have been up in the top 10 pretty much all race long. Of course, we have seen some of them have a little bit of trouble. But I don't think there's a clean truck out here right now, Taylor.
I don't think so either. I think every single one of them has some bit of damage, except for maybe Austin McGill, I have to say.
Oh, Austin McGill's even got some damage. I mean, look at his right side. His right side. He's got a little bit on there for sure. I'll tell you one truck that is very clean, though, is Chad McGinley. He's actually pretty clean. I don't see anything on that car. Interesting to note. So there's probably one clean truck out there. Bobby Mantle doesn't look too bad either. Mark Royce doesn't look too bad. So there's a couple trucks that don't seem to have much. As here we go, green flag is back out in the air once again. Austin McGill with a heck of a restart. Launches like a rocket. Side by side for second. Dale Brooks sending it into 1 and 2. And it looks like he might have the advantage. Still side by side for second place into 3 and 4. Brooks almost trying to pull a slider on Chad McGinley. Not able to get clear. He almost was there, though. Side by side behind them as Mantle tries to hold off Mark Royce. and Michael Hayes. Still side by side for second. Dale Brooks still trying to battle and get that second spot. And this is just allowing Austin McGill to drive away right now. And there goes Dale Brooks, able to get the pass secured.
It really is great racing action. Brooks was able to complete the pass and move his way forward, and now starting to pull away from Mark Royce. But here comes Royce, loops it, gets loose, hits the outside wall.
Yellow flag is out. That is heavy damage for Mark Royce. He is going to probably be parking it after that one. Such a awesome race for him. And unfortunately, it has now probably come to an end as we see he had made the pass on Chad McGinley, got loose in the middle of the corner, and it smashed the outside wall with, that's probably the hardest hit we've seen all night long. Taking a look back here through the cockpit camera here of the 50 as he was coming up to the back. And look at that. He just loosened or braking and tried to correct it. And unfortunately, it was too late. Overcorrected it into the outside wall. You got to be really careful when it comes to those overcorrections. You turn that wheel too much to try to catch it, and it might catch it and go the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's unfortunate right there.
So that is, once again, we're having another caution here. That is going to put Mark Royce pretty much out of the race, I do believe. Now he is a lap down in 12th, probably going to lose even more spots than that. Justin LeBlanc, I think, got a little bit of a piece of that as well. But fortunately, I don't think it was too bad for him. Looks like Austin McGill, Dale Brooks, Chad McGinley, Bobby Mantles, Jeff Weimer, Joshua Slade. I think they're all going to stay out. Well, no, Slade actually went down pit road. But, yep, everybody to Weimer, I think, stayed out. Of course, they shouldn't have too much wear on their tires. We'll have to see if this actually makes a difference. Those guys coming down to maybe take maybe another set of tires. I do want to shout out another one of our sponsors here. Oh, there goes. Interesting call. Chad McGinley and Bobby Mantle come down here in the second rotation or circuit. Interesting decision there. Do want to give a shout out to another one of our sponsors here at Grid Vision, and it's Team Watson Racing Setups. Team Watson offers out-of-the-box fast setups that are proven to win no matter what split you're competing in and are trusted by many top-level oval racers. If you're looking to take your iRacing career to the next level, check out TeamWatsonRacing.com. I'll tell you what, these guys are looking fast out here today. I almost wonder if one of these guys is running a Team Watson or Reaper setup out here. I'm telling you, these guys look like they got that top split winning speed, don't they?
It certainly is the case here, and we see a lot of drivers with a lot of top split speed here in the Global Racing Truck League as they get themselves ready to go. And I got to say, Austin McGill is one of those drivers who's had a lot of speed all weekend.
He definitely has, very much so. And a lot of people, we're here at the race. A lot of people don't understand how much work it takes to come, to get prepared for this. So these guys probably spent countless hours getting prepared for this race as we get ready for the green flag. Pace car is going to be taking a left turn down pit road. And there it is, green flag back out in the air. Austin McGill with another great launch. He just fires off so well. Slides right up in front of Brooks. Brooks, of course, able to slide up in front of Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes side by side with Jeff Weimer at the moment for the third spot. Weimer utilizing that middle groove, running really good. Gets a good run off of turn 4. I think he might get clear. And it looks like he does. Jeff Weimer up to third. Of course, now Michael Hayes under fire from Joshua Slade. Yeah, that top side is just so strong. I mean, you see Michael Hayes, he's kind of locked down there. And you're not able to get the run off the corner like you need to when you're down on the bottom. I mean, you have to... You're able to get such a better run when you're running the middle groove.
You certainly are. And you got to get a good run off in the middle corner exit in order to get yourself propelling through this racetrack here. You see drivers try to different grooves here with these fresh tires. You see them try to get that outside lane going still. We see a couple of drivers still sticking to the white line, bottom of the racetrack. And then some who are just hugging right around that white dotted line in the middle of the corner to try and get some momentum built up. We're seeing that from McGill, who's staying right on that white dotted line right as they come out of the corner.
He almost got loose there out of 4, but luckily he was able to keep it together. Now Dale Brooks is starting to put some pressure on him. Last time by, Brooks was about a tenth faster than that 5 Aces machine. So I'm curious to see what he's going to be able to do. And what a recovery as well from Ricky Hudgens, now up into 6th place. We talked about him having a little bit of a tragic day. Well, he's looking good right now. Of course, he is under fire at the moment from Chad McGinley in the 28. But it looks like he's got that well in hand. Of course, kind of being checked up a little bit by Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes goes down to the bottom, so I think maybe Ricky Hudgens is going to see if he can't get the run, but hard to do it whenever you got Michael Hayes in front of you. He's using kind of both lanes, so not really given an opportunity to pass there. But Weimer's also looked really good. As we see, he's actually catching up quite quickly to Dale Brooks. Last time by, he was one of the fastest cars on the track. The only person that was faster, I do believe, was Austin McGill.
McGill's really still showing pace here, and he's about a tenth faster than Dale Brooks for the moment as they start to go further and further into this run. And not long ago, McGill just ran his fastest lap of the race, but Brooks also dropping the hammer down here as we're under 50 laps to go.
Yeah, Brooks has definitely been showing some speed. I think he's just lacking a little bit more of the consistency that he probably needs. If you do see a cluster of race cars, Ricky Hudgens still battling with Chad McGinley. It looks like McGinley does have the advantage at the moment. Of course, Bobby Mantle kind of playing kingmaker. Oh, McGinley a little bit loose on the exit of 4, and that is going to give the advantage to Ricky Hudgens. This track is so great, seeing all these grooves working. You know, a lot of times when you go to a short track, most of the time they're single groove tracks, and that makes the racing somewhat boring. But North Wilkesboro, not like that at all. You can make all these grooves work. It just depends on really what your truck can handle and what your comfort of, what your comfort level is. Oh, there goes Ricky Hudgens sideways in front of McGinley. McGinley lays on the brakes to avoid getting into the 21, and that is going to bring out a caution with 45 laps to go. Take a look back at the replay, see exactly what happened here. It looks like Ricky Hudgens just loose in the center of the corner here and got loose on the exit right in front of McGinley. What heads-up driving there from the 28? I mean, he could have easily got some contact there, but he got on the brakes just in time in order to avoid that 21. Taking a look back once again here, you see he was sideways right in the middle of the corner and just was not able to keep it. Great heads-up driving there from the 28.
Great heads-up driving indeed, and a close call for McGinley. That could have ended his chances of coming home with a strong finish here, as McGill is coming down pit road.
That's an interesting call there from Austin McGill. Nick Schott just got his lap back. That is going to bring 11 drivers onto the lead lap. And that is, of course, Austin McGill coming down pit road is going to give Dale Brooks the lead once again. Interesting decision here from McGill. I'm surprised that he decided to sacrifice the track position. A lot of other drivers actually coming down pit road as well. So I think a lot of drivers just saying, I'm going to take this last set of tires. Probably won't see anybody else pit that just went down. I think now's the time. You're not going to be able to get these guys to go down pit road. After this, I should say. Because, we're coming up to 40 laps to go. We've seen these guys tackle runs way longer than that here today.
We certainly have, and now we'll see how this plays out for the rest of the field as they get closer and closer to the end of this race. Tempers may rise a little bit. Aggression levels will kick off even further into this race to see who wants to come out on top.
Yeah, and so far we haven't really seen tempers flare that much, which is kind of surprising. Usually at a short track you see guys get very upset with one another, but still plenty of time. This has been a long race. A 250 lap race. This is a short track. Definitely has been a gauntlet. But these guys have shown a remarkable amount of patience, I'd say, which is quite surprising. Usually, you see at short tracks, they're usually a caution fest, and guys get upset with each other, and definitely might not be so much arguing after this race, which usually is the case after a short track. Usually go to a short track, you see some fists being thrown. And it looks like the pace car lights have gone out. Dale Brooks, of course, will lead us to green. Jeff Weimer, now I do believe he's the highest position he's been so far here. I don't think he's led any laps thus far. does he have the ability to do it now? He's shown some good speed in that Mission 2273 machine. And here we go. Pace car getting ready to take the left turn down pit road. And the green flag is back out in the air. Dale Brooks, pretty good restart. Jeff Weimer, also good restart. Of course, Dale Brooks able to secure that lead. Side by side, though, is third place. Bobby Mansell and Chad McGinley battling. Of course, Austin McGill on the fresher tires. Watch out for him. It looks like he's being pretty patient right now. Thinking about maybe taking him 3 wide, decides against it.
Decides to go against it indeed here as they work their way off turn 2. McGinley just to stretch out a little bit ahead, but it's a gaggle of hornet's nest of drivers as here comes Austin McGill, and now to the inside. He's going to try to follow McGinley out of turn number 4. Goes to the high side to get that 4th spot away.
He's showing excellent car control. I mean, he just really, a little bit of a wiggle there. Really good save. He's able to keep it going. He's showing really good car control. I mean, he's able to really, make the bottom lane work and then just shoot up to the top and take it, He definitely seems like he knows exactly what he's doing as he moves up to 4th place. Now going to set his sights on Joshua Slade. Of course, we see David Holsey, I believe, battling with Matthew Escalara. Of course, that is not for position, but Dale Brooks still in the lead. Slade now getting passed by Austin McGill. And Austin McGill now up to 3rd position. So now he sets his sights on the 73 and the 32. And look at this. He is getting, once he gets by these guys, he just starts driving away. He has got definitely class of the field speed, that 99 does. Side by side, though, I do believe Chad McGinley and Michael Hayes battling for the 5th spot. As we're now sub 35 laps to go. Dale Brooks in the lead. Definitely a optimal moment to be in the lead. Of course, he is on a little bit older tires than Austin McGill, so keep an eye. Does the tires make a difference? I mean, look at McGill's speed, 18.732 last time by. He was over a tenth faster, almost 2 tenths faster than Dale Brooks, our leader.
Certainly is as he works his way through, but Dale Brooks is trying to keep away here and try to hold off, but Jeff Weimer starting to close in. They're running almost identical lap times here as they try to keep pace. Here comes Austin McGill, though, closing that gap quickly. Has plenty of time to make it work, though, as they head off into turns 3 and 4 once again.
Yeah, Austin McGill definitely showing some significant speed. Of course, he has led the majority of this race here today, and definitely does not want to let this one get away from him. Of course, I do believe this would make his 2nd win on the season if he's able to get it done. Last win, I do believe, came at a road course. Oh, we got a cluster of race cars. Joshua Slade in the middle, 3 wide. Chad McGinley on the bottom. This could turn out poorly. Still 3 wide out of 4. Oh, McGinley gives a little bit of a shot to the back of the 12. Luckily, it does not send anybody around. What a race we're seeing back here for the 5th spot. Michael Hayes able to really take advantage and moves up into 4th. Austin McGill has just taken 2nd away from Jeff Weimer. Looks like Ricky Hudgens got loose here. Of course, he is right now scored in that 8th spot. Of course, now Austin McGill got by Jeff Weimer, and look at the gap that he has put on Weimer now. Over, I do believe, 1.6 seconds. Oh, problems there. Who is that? I do believe that is the 12 of Joshua Slade. That is going to bring a caution out.
Certainly is going to bring a caution out here with just about 25 laps to go. We'll take a look at the replay and see what happened to Weimer. You're right on board with him. Now as he heads off into turns 1 and 2, just loses it, drifts it around, couldn't get it back straight, and it will bring out the caution. No one gets collected up in it, though.
I do want to correct it a little bit. That is actually Joshua Slade that had that issue there. Weimer is still in 3rd place at the moment. And it looks like Dale Brooks deciding to come down pit road along with Jeff Weimer, Chad McGinley, and Bobby Mantle. This is going to give Austin McGill the lead. Now, these guys, I think this is smart. Taking tires right now. We'll have to see how this works out. Ricky Hudgens, I do believe, did stay out. Joshua Slade, I think he stayed out as well. I like this strategy. They saw Austin McGill coming, and they're like, we got to do something here. We got to do what he did. Get those fresh tires, and maybe we'll have an advantage on him.
And Weimer will beat McGinley off pit road here, along with Dale Brooks, who comes out for pit road ahead of those two. So big changes on the pit road strategy. But for Austin McGill, he will stay out along with Michael Hayes and Ricky Hutchins. And Nick Schatz as well in the 60. He hasn't pitted in 80 laps.
Wow, that's pretty crazy to see. Of course, he is up in 4th right now. That could be somewhat dangerous. Yeah, he has 80 laps on his equipment. You're 100% on the money with that. That could be dangerous. I mean, he's going to be about probably a half a second to a second off the pace compared to the rest of these guys. Do have pit strategy on the board, and you can see Shot right there, that yellow box showing that he has been out there for quite a long time. Definitely love these visual aids here for our audience at home. We definitely appreciate you guys watching Grid Vision. Make sure you follow us on Twitch. You can maybe like and subscribe to us on YouTube. We definitely appreciate it for sure. And make sure you also comment down below. Talk about who are you liking out here? Who are you rooting for? I mean, I know a lot of times with these iRacing races, and especially Global Racing Series or Truck Series, a lot of family members watch these guys and to support them. So make sure you do comment, show your love. A lot of times these drivers do go back and look at those comments, and I'm sure they'll appreciate you shouting them out.
Of course, we got some more great racing action happening coming up later on in the week, starting off on Tuesday night with the Champions Power Equipment heading off to Sonoma.
Yeah, that's true. I do believe they're actually going to Road America. But, yeah, they do have that mini road course season there with Champion, and it has been very fun to watch. Me and Caleb have been calling that, and it's definitely been a ton of fun here as the pace car. Oh, someone just blew up. I heard the... And green flag is out. Oh, Austin McGill with a wheel spin. That is going to give possibly the advantage to Michael Hayes side by side for the lead. Austin McGill almost lost it completely on the green flag. Looks like he's going to be able to keep the lead, though. And side by side for 3rd place, Dale Brooks and Ricky Hutchins. Looks like Dale Brooks does secure 3rd. He is on some of the freshest tires in the field at the moment. Chad McGinley, of course, trying to make something happen as well as Nick Schott on the 80-lap-old tires is starting to fall back through the field. See Joshua Slade right behind him, trying his best not to get into him.
Have you seen that? I haven't.
See Chad McGinley, of course, still battling with Ricky Hutchins. But here comes Dale Brooks. This is going to be a battle for the race win, I do believe, if we stay green. Brooks is all over the back end of Austin McGill here. And it looks like McGill goes up high. That is going to give the lane to Dale Brooks. And I think he has now taken the lead with this strategy call. It was a mark of genius, I'd say. And he does. He secures the lead. Can McGill respond? A little bit loose off of turn 4. I think he's trying his best to do what he can, but the tires are just worn out for him at the moment.
They certainly are 25-lap older tires compared to Dale Brooks, who's only got 8 laps on this set of tires here. So this is going to be critical for him as he tries to hold on for the rest of the field. Here comes Michael Hayes and then Chad McGinley, who gets around Hayes for the 3rd spot.
Yeah, Chad McGinley has definitely shown remarkable speed here. Can he catch up here and possibly get up to 2nd place? Austin McGill. See Jeff Weimer trying to battle as well with Michael Hayes. Weimer is on fresh tires as well. And he does. He secures the spot on Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes now falls back to 5th. Do see some battling as well. I do believe Joshua Slade and Bobby Mantle.
Ooh, trouble. Up in the wall goes Bobby Mantle.
Yeah, you saw, I think Joshua Slade kind of locked the tire or brakes up into Bobby Mantle. That sent Mantle up into the outside wall. I'm sure Mantle not happy about that. But Dale Brooks, our leader, as we come here to 15 laps to go here. Joshua Slade and Ricky Hutchins battling for the 7th place position at the moment. Ricky Hutchins on the bottom. We see Joshua Slade on the top. And it looks like Hudgens might have the advantage. No, Slade gets a good run on the exit of 4. Really good run into 1, and he's going to secure that 7th spot. David Halsey, what a recovery from him. Started on the pole in this race, is now back up into 6th. Definitely a great race for him. I know it's not as good as he probably would want it to be, but definitely could have been a whole lot worse.
Good recovery effort to stop the bleeding and be able to have a good points day for him, at least. Very critical.
Chad McGinley now pressuring Austin McGill. He's on the inside. Of course, Jeff Weimer going to see if he can't follow on through as we come now to 13 to go. Chad McGinley going to see what he can do, but I don't think Austin's going to give this spot up willingly. You see he's trying to maintain the momentum on the top side, and it's working for him. That is a really good defensive line that he is taking to where he can get the runs on the exit. Very good defensive maneuvers here, but this is allowing Dale Brooks to drive away. Dale Brooks now 2.3 seconds out in the lead.
He is checked out on the competition here, and Dale Brooks just going to slowly start logging these laps here in order to try to get this race done as quickly as possible for him. Doesn't want to have another caution as McGill and McGinley are going to go side by side down the hill into turns 1 and 2, and now we'll see also if Weimer can get involved in this battle. 3 wide possibly could come into play.
These guys are dueling. You can see Chad McGinley is trying to get the run off the exit on the bottom, but it's just almost impossible to get a pass completed when you're on that bottom unless you have a significantly faster race truck. So he's trying to – you can see he's desperate. He is trying his best to drive it in deep, and it's just not working. Austin McGill is able to defend. We'll have to wait and see. Does McGill burn his – oh, there goes McGill! Woo, right around in front of – Jeff Weimer, no caution.
That'll send McGill back further.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to put David Halsey back up into 5th. Austin McGill drops to 6th place. Jeff Weimer able to recover and still stay in that 3rd spot. Take a look back at this here. I do believe this happened on the exit of turn 4. On the straightaway, actually, I think McGill right here, he just got back to the throttle, got loose right in front of Weimer. Weimer did hit a little bit there. As we come, I do believe, to 7 laps to go here. And Dale Brooks has checked out.
I think this is the biggest lead we've seen all race long.
Yeah, I think the probably the second biggest. I think the first biggest we saw, of course, was when Austin McGill had about 5 seconds on everybody earlier. But definitely great job to Dale Brooks. Austin McGill led he led majority of this race, but Dale Brooks, he's going to lead the ones that count as we come here to 5 laps to go. Austin McGill trying to recover as he gets up here to David Halsey. He's going to see if he can't get this some spots back here. Looks like he is going to be successful in getting 5th. What a race we have seen here today. This has been some fantastic action at North Wilkesboro. This has got me hyped up for the NASCAR race here in a few hours.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. And, of course, if you think about it, for those who watched the heat races last night, they utilized wet weather tires in one of the heats. So
yeah,
if we see rain, of course, hashtag soon in iRacing, and seeing that added to this could be a whole different story.
100%. Of course, we're coming here very close to the end of this thing. 3 laps to go. Next time, 2 to go. And then, of course, once we get to the white flag, the next flag will end it. Austin McGill trying desperately to catch up to Joshua Slade to see if he can't get another spot back. Definitely a great recovery as well to Jeff Weimer, who almost had his race ended with that spin from Austin McGill. Of course, Bobby Mantle just got by Ricky Hudgens for the 8th spot, so that's a good time to be making a pass here. So we're coming, I do believe, very close. Here we go. White flag is going to be waving out in the air as Dale Brooks takes the final lap. And he has a 2.7-second lead right now, so I think it's all pretty much said and done. As long as he makes it through 3 and 4 and onto the front stretch, he has got this thing sealed up. And what a race from Dale Brooks. He will win here at North Wilkesboro.
What a great strategy
race.
Call. Great
Yeah.
race and strategy call for Dale Brooks to steal this one away from Austin McGill, who was the dominant driver, and Good points day for Dale Brooks to get himself further into the championship. As trouble for a couple of drivers as they head off in turn 1.
Yeah, definitely an awesome strategy call there from him. Set some problems there for some other drivers. Looks like we're going to see some celebration here from Dale Brooks. David Holsey coming up to give a little bit of a congratulations. And look at that. Awesome burnout there. Kind of almost doing a circle around David Holsey. You can tell Dale Brooks is no stranger to victory lane. Of course, he is the points leader and now is going to, I do believe, extend that points lead. And that does bring us to the conclusion of our Martin Sports winning moment. Martin Sports, a family-owned apparel company in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. They've been open for a decade and proved to be a provider of the best custom apparel for anyone. Your local sports team, business, special events, maybe if you have a family reunion, they can make shirts for you for sure. Not only that, but Martin Sports is a major brand in the sim racing community, with providing top teams with jerseys and the like. Of course, they also have specially crafted gloves. I have a pair of those gloves, and they are fantastic. I love them. I will never race again without them. But visit martinsports906.com today to reach out to them and see if maybe you can get some custom apparel or some gloves. With that, we'll go ahead and go and do a rundown through the final results here today at North Wilkesboro. Dale Brooks with the victory. Chad McGinley comes home in second place. Jeff Weimer in third. Joshua Slade finishes in fourth. Austin McGill in fifth. David Holsey finishes sixth. Michael Hayes in seventh. Bobby Mantle in eighth. Ricky Hudgens ninth. And Nick Schott in 10th.
11th is going to be Justin LeBlanc, followed by Steve Gerber, 12th. Stephen Hayes in 13th, with Michael Molester in 14th. Stephen Knight, 15th. EJ Luna, 16th. Don Blazer, 17th. Mark Royce, 18th. Matthew Escarilla in 19th. And Jeremy Richmond rounds out your top 20.
Ron Harrington in 21st. Kenny Heath in 22nd. Ronald Holmes rounds out this 23-car field. With that, we'll go ahead and get right on into the post-race interviews here for our top 3. And I do believe that will be started with Jeff Weimer. One moment, we get a handle on him. All right, we got him here in the booth. Jeff Weimer, third place finish, man. I know that was kind of a little bit of a hectic finish for you. I saw Austin McGill kind of have a little bit of a moment there in front of you. I know you probably hit him a little bit there, but still third place. Got to be really happy with that. You've been really consistent this season, and you've been kind of progressively and gradually working your way up through the points rankings. How you feeling about this finish here today?
I feel pretty good. I knew I had a top 3 car. The best car. To be honest, Halsey was fast, shame, but yeah, I feel the car was really good. On the long, I don't know if I got real loose there in that one real long run, but all in all, I thought it was a good race.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it was a really good race for you there. What was the preparation like for a race like this? I mean, 250 laps, I know you could turn a lot of practice laps, but it doesn't really prepare you for such a race like this when you got 23 cars on the track.
No, it doesn't. I did one open race on last night, which helped out a lot, but I put some laps in this morning. But that's about on this track. That's about all I did.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting racetrack to say the least. I mean, what was some of the challenges? I know you said you were getting looser in the long run. What were your strengths at? The bottom line, the top line. Where was the best place to be for you?
The bottom line was best for me. Just keeping it down. 3 and 4, you keep it down real tight to that curbing, and then 1 and 2, you run it up, let it drift up a little bit, and then run off the corner. You can. In the beginning of the run, I think you're all right on the high side. As far as passing people, but as the run goes, it's probably about this. This is one of them tracks that's about the same high and low passing. It's tough on the low side because you got to really let off into the corner and try to get a good run off to get that guy. But
All right. Well, definitely appreciate your insight there for sure. Of course, next week. I do believe we're off on Memorial Day weekend.
And then we're back.
The weekend after that, we'll be back at Gateway. How you feeling about that track?
I'm sticking Charlotte.
I do believe we have Gateway here on the schedule here.
Yep. I like Gateway. Gateway's a fun track.
It's definitely a tough track too. I mean, I think there's going to be shifting involved with that place. That's something that you guys probably don't see a lot unless you're at the road course, right?
No, unless we're in the road courses, no, not a lot. Nope.
Well, I'm glad you're confident about that racetrack, though. A lot of people are probably not going to be so confident for sure. But great job on a third place finish, Jeff. Who can we shout out after your third place finish?
My wife, Danny, my stepdaughter Sasha, and all the guys on our team and everything. Dale, Chuck, me, or Ricky, you guys for your broadcast. You guys do a good job, great job. And I have to thank them little digital guys, my pit crew.
Yeah, they definitely did a good job for you out there on the racetrack for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's no I in team. You got to thank the pit crew, even if they're digital.
Yep.
All righty. Well, thanks for your time, Jeff. Thanks. We'll see you in a couple weeks, man. Enjoy your weekend off next week.
All right. Thank you, sir.
That was Jeff Weimer, our third place finisher. Next up, Taylor is standing by with Chad McGinley.
Here with Chad McGinley coming home in P2. Chad, you had pretty much an up and down race, but was able to pull off some great strategy to come home with a top 3 finish. Walk us through how your day went.
Oh, it was fun starting from the back with the EOL from Kansas, and my whole goal was just take it one truck at a time, take my time. I got 250 laps. Let's just kind of take it in cruise control and take what we can get.
Well, we're getting ready to go for a little bit of vacation time. Head off to Gateway here. Your thoughts about heading to another unique oval circuit on the NASCAR schedule happening at Gateway?
It'll definitely be a driver's track this next week coming up there. It's a track that takes a little bit of skill. So 2 different types of corners, all that fun stuff. It'll be fun times for these trucks.
Well, with that, anyone you'd like to say thank you to, Chad?
I appreciate all the teammates on at the Top Motorsport. Lots of good practice this weekend, and my popsy's watching. Hopefully, say hi to him. And I appreciate you guys for putting on the broadcast. You guys do a heck of a job.
Well, that is Chad McGinley coming home in second place, and we get to now talk to our race winner. He's with Brian Britt, Dale Brooks.
All righty, we got him here in the booth. Our winner, Dale Brooks, with a interesting pit strategy there to the end. We thought Austin McGill was going to have it, just considering he kind of pulled a fast one on you guys by coming down pit road, taking tires, and then driving up there and taking the lead from you, or almost taking the lead from you. Of course, a caution came out, and you were like, hey, he's coming. I'm going to do the same thing he did to me. I mean, what was going through your mind when you made that decision, Dale?
I mean, I saw that he had about 22 laps on his tires, and there wasn't a ton of people on the lead lap. And I figured if I went, obviously Jeff's on my team, he was going to come. And I figured, I just got lucky. Chad McKinley came as well. And then, once Austin was on older tires, it was, a little bit more advantage to me. I think for sure he had a faster truck than me, but just not when it had a 22 lap tire difference.
Yeah, definitely. I know you were kind of up in the top 5 all race long. You had some front end damage early. Do you think that was affecting you at all? Because I was a little worried about that. It was kind of caved in pretty good on the front end.
No. I got into so there was something happened at the I think within the first 10 laps. Ricky was in front of me and he had to get on the brakes hard, and I got on the brakes as hard as I could, but I touched him, and so I think that damage is not right because Ricky got no damage on his truck. And it was only 30 seconds of damage. So I don't think it affected the truck too much. I didn't have to change tape or anything like that.
So it looked like it was more just an aesthetic thing for us up here in the booth. It definitely looked like you had some substantial damage on the front end, but definitely good race for you. I mean, you're able to really get this victory. You were already the points leader. This is going to definitely extend that points lead quite a bit. How were you feeling coming into North Wilkesboro? I mean, were you confident? I know this is kind of a track that we don't come to a lot here in the trucks.
To be honest, I didn't run a lap until this morning. Got some setup help from Jeff and made some adjustments on it. Just want to apologize. We got to look at the wreck. I don't know if it was my fault against Halsey or what. That's nothing. I always like not, wrecking someone's never my intention. So if it's my fault, I'll get the penalty or whatever. But just want to publicly apologize. I know it ruined his race. He ended up coming back and getting 6th, but he probably had the winning truck. So if it was my fault, I just want to make sure I apologize to him.
Yeah, David Halsey, of course, qualified on the pole. Definitely very nice recovery for him for sure. I think when we saw it earlier, I think he did get into him a little bit there, but I'm sure he's going to definitely appreciate that apology for sure. But still, great job to you, able to really secure this victory for sure, and a really great day for you guys as a team as a whole. I mean, you got Jeff Weimer in 3rd place. How does that feel as a team overall?
Great. I mean, like I said, Jeff, I didn't touch the setup this week. Jeff made it all, made some adjustments on setups and brought one that me and Ricky felt comfortable with. And I just made some adjustments in the 2-hour practice before the race to fit my driving style. And so big shout out to him too. Like I said, I didn't put a lap in until this morning. So.
Well, that's impressive to say that you didn't really have a whole lot of time on this racetrack and you still won the race. Just speaks to the level of talent of Dale Brooks. I'll tell you what, I mean, definitely fantastic job to you. Of course, next week we're going to have off. It's going to be Memorial Day weekend. And the week after that, we go to Gateway. Now, I know that's a difficult track, but, you're a good driver. Usually that's a driver's track. How you feel about it?
Yeah, I should. We'll see. I think I won there last year. Halsey's been just all of 5 aces. Halsey's been so fast this year. Just really bad luck. Like I said, he's been taken out a few times, and now I'm one of the reasons why he was taken out. So, yeah, I think Halsey will be quick there. But yeah, I've been fast there. I've won there before, so hopefully we can come out and put on a good show.
Yeah, that would definitely be awesome to see for sure. Hopefully, maybe you can get another win there at Gateway. But definitely great job to you. Congratulations on the win. Who can we give a shout out to after this victory here today?
I'll give a shout out to you guys for Grid Vision. Appreciate you guys broadcasting the races. Shout out to my mom and dad, my family, my brother, my sister, my kids for supporting me and watching me. So I appreciate it. Shout out to the whole league for showing up every week. And then again, apologize to Halsey for today. And then a big shout out to my teammates that have been showing up every week, Jeff and Ricky Hudgens, man. I like racing with those guys, and we've been doing pretty good.
That you have. I mean, all 3 of you have been really doing very well when it comes to the points. I know Jeff Weimer has been slowly but surely climbing his way up the points ranking. Of course, Ricky Hudgens, I know he didn't have the best day here today, so hopefully he doesn't lose any spots. But tell you what, you guys definitely are looking like it's going to be one of you 3 that might have a championship at the end of the season. We'll definitely look forward to seeing what the rest of the season holds. Thanks for your time, Dale.
Appreciate it, Brian.
That was Dale Brooks, our winner here tonight at North Wilkesboro. We definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in. Of course, any final thoughts, Taylor?
It's been an amazing race to see racing here at North Wilkesboro. We're looking forward to seeing what the future holds in the real world, but we know safely in the virtual world, this track is going to be a main staple for a lot of racing series.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, of course, we saw how the truck series, they had a packed house, and hopefully they can keep that track profitable for the future for sure. That is going to pretty much guarantee that we'll see more racing there at North Wilkesboro. But with that, it is time to draw this broadcast to its conclusion. I do want to give a big shout out to Taylor Burris for stepping in and calling the race with me here today. Of course, big shout out as always to the awesome Austin Derbyshire, who always puts together some great camera angles and shows us a lot of the accidents that we miss up here in the booth. So definitely big shout out to him as well. To Justin Levine for partnering here and being a co-owner with us here at Grid Vision. And of course, thank you to all the guys and gals out there that tune in week in and week out to watch our broadcast. We definitely appreciate it. My name is Brian Britt, and thank you for listening to the Global Racing Truck Series here on Grid Vision. We'll see you next time.